I'll just do this is Book Camp Podcast and then we'll get rolling with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Book Camp Podcast, and today I'm joined by Mr. James Hickey.
Sam?
Very good to have you, mate.
Yeah, good to be here with you.
And we were just talking about how actually someone specifically, actually one of the more recent episodes, Connor,
Forced me to be on here.
Well, you said because it was the case of he said that you weren't going to come on.
Yeah, and to be fair, what he actually said to me, he said is, James will agree to do it, and then we'll find a way of pulling out of it towards the end and be like, he said, I don't know why, he should go on, but you'll find a way of pulling out of it at the end. And that made me think, fuck you, Connor, you're right, so I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah, almost he's like used reverse psychology on you.
Yeah, and he even said to me, I think that's what he said, who knows, maybe that's what I intended to do, but...
I'll slip him the tenner that I promised him then for getting you on.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that at all.
Why do you think you said that then? Because we discussed this a bit. Like it's almost like it is a bit more like you're a comfortable talker. You're confident.
Yeah.
But it is like that formal element you were saying.
Yes, it's literally that. Just being formal, and I just feel like if I put on the spot, if I have to think about it too much, that's what it is. I think I'd stutter and all things like that.
But as we said though, like I always like my first thing is I want to make the person opposite me feel as comfortable as possible. Like that's my main thing. Like give a shit about this. Give a shit about.
What is there a massage coming?
Listen, mate. If that's what it has to come down to.
I mean,
I'm down to it. But it's one of them. Like I have, like in order for us to have a good conversation, you have to first be comfortable. Which obviously, if you're going into the pub and having a chat, you're there already.
Yeah.
Whereas this, you bring the microphones in, you bring the computer in, you bring like the camera in, and you just like hang on.
The microphone breaks about 10 times.
Listen, we're professionals
and the
here.
nerves start kicking. Yeah, the mics don't break at all round.
Mics don't break. The software doesn't like corrupt, and I have to like reset it. Like that doesn't happen.
And your pipes don't burst if you get your plumbing done at React 4.
Exactly. And if you have your chicken from Tings and Wings, mate.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, good. Do you like that?
Mate, it was unreal.
Yeah, so we had before this, what did we have? The honey and
the sweet chili.
The Thai sweet chili as well, the wings from there.
I've never had, and in fairness as well, like, I'm not one of these guys that's like massively into wings like that. Like I know a few of our mates are, but they like were unreal. The seasoning, impeccable.
Yeah, it's good. It's got loads of different sauces and that down there, so it's good.
Do you want to list them all?
I don't wait for them.
No, it's not that. I mean, if they want to throw us a few quid, then we'll do a proper sponsor for them. Listen, by all means.
Yeah.
But yeah, and as well, like another thing I think we wanted to touch upon, I think would be a good introduction, is you mentioned that you were thinking about doing a podcast yourself.
Yeah, it's made like, I'm not like, well, it's, I like the idea of it, and a few of my friends from like, not from around here, from like London and places like that, have said that I teach them a few things about things that they don't know, mainly like about music. That's sort of what I wanted to do it about, music that I was into, and basically just like debate. Not like, but then I talked myself out of it, just like I would talk myself out of coming here if it weren't for Connor. But yeah, I talked myself out of doing things like that because I start to think I don't want to be a face of anything, and I don't want, like, I don't know, I think I just bite back too easy to criticism as well. I think it would just be...
But that could make for funny episodes though, like almost, because you, like, I think there are two sides to James Hickey. Like you do have that bit about you. But the majority
sweet and sour.
You said
very
it.
sour.
You said it. No, but like I think you're 90% like sweet, but then there is that little bit where you can like switch and like I could like, because obviously I've grown up with you like through secondary school. I can tell. Like I'm just a bit like, I mean, it was the other day. I think you were just knackered after the England game, but I was like, "Are you right, James?"
Yeah, no, I was. Yeah,
you were sat there just grimming out, and I was a bit like, "Has someone upset?"
Oh no, I was too tired. Basically, after the England game, it was too hot. I shouldn't be in above 10 degrees. Without like someone walking around with an umbrella. Factor 50.
Piping on the factor 50.
Factor 50 is needed. Like it's bad. I think it's bad that the government don't give it out to gingers for free anyway.
Mate, it should at least be subsidised.
It should. There needs to be something done about it because we're losing my people out here. But no, yeah, I was done in from. It's been a long day, and it was one of them like. I was literally sitting before you turned up, and I was contemplating like, what am I still doing out here? Like
it's one of them though. Like
we won 1-0.
Yeah, but it's one of them though. You know when you're in that situation, just sat there, you're just like, you need to muster up that effort to go home, but you don't even have the effort to like do that. You're just like, I can't be fucking honest.
Yeah. It weren't until like, literally, when you said like, what are we still doing down here? Like when you were still when you were going to leave, that's when I thought, yeah. it's a safe
Time
time.
to turn,
Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, it was a safe time to leave. I think I come back here actually for a drink
Yeah.
in the
Last order.
last order, which to be fair, every time I've been here, have conned me out of money. So don't.
Oh, what with the scratch cards?
Yeah, scratch
mate,
cards,
it's a scam.
sweepstakes, everything like that. They'll just
If
take
they-
your money. Well, it's Gadge. Jake, nice fella, great at plumbing as well. Well, don't quote me on that, but yes, Gadge.
They're sponsoring the episode.
But Gadge,
so they're fantastic plumbers.
Yeah, but Gadge, mate, is not a fan. He's a fantastic swindler, Gadge. I'll give him that.
I can attest to that as well.
Yeah. Funny enough, he's winning sweepstake. He got France. He was the one who got everyone to do it, and he gets the strongest teams. All his mates got sorted out pretty much, and me and Connor got the worst two teams.
Who did you get?
I think, who did I get? Switzerland. I think I got.
Are they out already?
Yeah, I think so. And Connor as well got done badly as well. North Macedonia. I mean, why are you even doing a sweepstake, including them teams in there?
I'll tell you, let's go back to that the thing you said about the podcast, because to be honest, actually, like, I resonate with that a bit as well. Like with my one, like I like the amount of, I don't know if it was, I think it was mostly self doubt.
Yeah.
Like going like, does anyone give a shit?
Yeah.
Does that factor into you a bit as well? Like almost like you could go to this effort of buying the equipment and like spending your time on it. And...
Yeah, but like I think that sort of stuff don't really. I don't think it's like other people not giving a shit. It's more like other people's negativity a little bit. So like take like for example, we live in a town, and I'd hate to like compare it to London, but I'll compare it to like London. But see people around, I feel like around in the small town area, because of how it is. I don't know if it's just Welling Garden or other towns. I feel like if you're good at something that's like a bit out of, or you do something that's a bit out of the box, people sort of look at it as a bit like, who's he think he is, sort of thing. Yeah. Why is he trying to do this?
Yeah.
But whereas I've got friends in London or places like other places that they'll do something. Say for instance round here, if someone wanted to rap or something like that, straight away people look at he's an idiot. Or
you'd be like, you're a country boy. Like what are you doing?
Like take for example Michael Miller. He's good. He's talented. He's got a talent. He can write this, that, and the other. But because he's from around here, people wouldn't want to sort of be like, I like his music or I think he's good. But whereas if he was from a different area, people sort of jump on them and say that they're the best without even because you don't know them.
And I think that's what I mean? But that's double sided as well. Like you're talking about, so like not only the people from that area, so if like people from Welling. Yeah. As well, then also as well. So like you're getting it from the people that should be supporting you. If anything.
Yeah.
But then also from other areas as well, they'll be like, oh, you're not from London. You're not from the emerging ones as well, like Manchester, Birmingham now for like music.
Yeah. But I think like when I've spoken to even people like him, like I've spoken to other people as well. They like from around here that have not necessarily music. Say they've done something like sports or their business, or like they've started like a tiling business or something like that. And they've said that sometimes you get a lot more support from further afield than you do from the people that you would have thought.
It's mad.
And I found that a lot of times in life, throughout a lot of experiences, that you get a lot more support sometimes from places where you'd least expect it or further afield. But the people that you expect to be there and to do things sort of for you, or not do things for you, but just to like, or at least be involved.
Yeah, or at least be happy for you. Like that's the bare minimum.
Yeah,
like if you see someone doing something and you just like, hang on, that's a bit. You might, as you say, like so if you the podcast, like for me, like doing this podcast, someone might look at that and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. So for me, it's never really been about that because I like to like I've got decks and things like that. I've always been into music and things like that. So I've got decks at home. I mix like when I've got free time and that. But no one knows. I don't show.
I was going to say I didn't know that.
But that's what I mean. Yeah. So a lot of people like don't really know that I'll mix at home. I've got decks. I've got like expensive equipment for it to just be a hobby. But it is just a hobby. I like sometimes I prefer things like that because I think it takes like I don't want to do something for. Someone said to me, "Why don't you go DJ in a few spots?" But I said I don't want to do it for money because then it takes away what I want to play music that I want to play. I don't want to be told. can you play this? Do you have this song?
I'm not really enjoying what you're putting out there tonight.
Do you have this song? Or can you play some house? No, leave me alone. I listen to what I listen to basically. So
I like that. I think, and to be honest as well, like that is actually similar to the approach I take with this. Like obviously I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
But I try and just like first and foremost, I'm just trying to have a chat.
Yeah.
And like I get a lot of things out of this.
Yeah, you get more out of the. Would you say you get more out of the conversation?
Yeah.
Than the actual response.
Yeah. Massively.
Yeah.
And it's what like. And for me as well, like it's a fantastic excuse. Like for fuck's sake, like how long have we known each other? Like from throughout like and twin as well, probably before because you played Pangzanger as well.
Yeah, Pangzanger. I think I would have got into the Pangzanger Yellows goalkeeper if he wasn't in the sticks.
Nah, listen,
to be fair, you had an outstanding season.
Nah, it was a fluke. They caught me in a good patch.
Hey, you were in a good team. You had good players around. You had Ellis, Dan Dixon, Ferguson, James Ferguson, and people like that. Do you see the team I had? Did you see the people I had in defence? The balls were coming over and the defenders were ducking from it because they were scared of the ball. Had some alright players like Tom Cox and that. He played for, he ended up with Yellows. We had Marsh. Marsh was a bagsman back when he was like 10.
He was.
Don't know what happened since then. It's the North Face that protects the team.
He's fallen off a bit.
Like Marsh was about George Milstead. He used to. Yeah,
Milstead was a baller.
Yeah, we used to have good players at Pangzanger Whites when I played there, but
to be fair, like both Pangzanger sides, but like
Pangzanger Yellows was the team. If you got into the Yellows, and we had the better coaches. We had like Charlie Wayne was dad weren't a bad coach, but he weren't like our main coach. Our main coach was like a postman.
Yeah, and contrast that with Kenny Dixon, making us gone 5 mile runs at 10 years old.
Oh man, them runs were so bad. I was in the Whites and they used to try and make us lot do them. I used to beg our manager like, no, please don't make us do. I'm in goal. Why do I need to run 5 miles?
I tried saying the same thing, and then so their approach to it, they was like, okay, like you go like you towards the back, like for whatever reason they're like, right, this is a great opportunity, run towards the front. I was like, the reason why I'm at the back is I'm fucking knackered. Like,
yeah. But if I was quick,
fair,
I'd be on the wing.
To be fair though, it worked. It got me through it. Like, so I think it was like either Steve or Kenny a couple of times. They just took me aside. They're like, look, if you're struggling, you need to dig deeper. To make this become your baseline.
But they had Kenny. Kenny was doing a lot of runs, and Kenny was big on the fitness. And Fergie was good at. He was a good coach as well. Ian was a good coach.
All of them were class. And to be honest as well, like it's as much about like what we learned from the football as it is like now. I say that about like obviously the runs. Like where I thought I was fucked. I wasn't. I just needed someone to push me on a bit, and like that's what they did for me. And like once you do that, you realise okay. There's a lot more to like me than what my mind's telling me I can and can't do.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But back to what I was saying about like so for the podcast for me is like, I love the fact that I can be like, right, Hickey, I haven't seen you long. I've known you for long. Let's just have a chat.
Yeah.
And as well, it can go as surface level, just catching up. Yeah. Like being like, oh, like what's going on with you, or it can go as deep as you want.
Yeah. No, I know that,
and it can be silly.
Sometimes it goes. Sometimes I feel that even when I have a conversation with you like down the pub, it will go from silly to deep, back to silly within like in the same conversation.
I love that.
And I find that I can do that with you. I can do it with a few other people like Jake, Connor, and like people like that. If have a bit of banter with, but also it's like you're talking about real stuff. Yeah. But it's fun as well.
You need that though. I think. Like whenever I mean for me anyway, like that's my way of coping with my way of dealing with it is like when you're having that serious stuff, you need to balance it out a little bit because the problem is like if you go all heavy, I mean there are a few circumstances where I imagine that is appropriate, but you know we won't get into them. But like I think for the most part, like you need to balance it out with something because otherwise it's just like and as well I find you get stuck in it a bit as well. Like whereas if we go into something heavy. And I'm just like constantly hammering you like, oh, like what? How do you feel about this? Like, what are you doing with this? Like, oh, that's grim. It's like
an interview.
Yeah, exactly. Or an interrogation.
Yeah, cool.
But like, so that for me as well, like just having a conversation, and also as well, like not only with people I know, with new people as well. I was saying to you on the way, like there's been people that have reached out and gone like, you know what, I've seen what you're doing, I like it.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. That's good that you're getting people that even before some of your like there's some close friends that you haven't even had on yet. Yeah, and they're trying to fit in, but there's people now that don't even know
from different
from
circles.
you that have just spoke to someone who's spoke to you and has gone. I wanted to. What made you want to do a podcast? Like, what was like the main thing that thought? You know what? Like, so obviously you have the idea, but I have a million ideas every day. Yeah, I had an idea that was stolen in town. To be fair, and everyone laughed at me. And
what's that?
I said about making a barber shop and a kebab shop together. And calling it kebabers as a joke. I said that for a joke to someone who runs a kebab shop. Yeah. And he laughed at it and was like, "Oh, you're a joker." But I went a little bit silly with it. I started saying, "Yeah, you could use the stuff you cut the kebabs with, like to trim the hair."
Just like jump between the two.
Yeah, jump between the two. Use the same tools.
So is that one large doner and a shape up?
Yeah,
sweet, mate,
doner and a shape up for you, mate. Doner and a shape up salad with the doner. What about the shape up? Right. So he laughed it off. Next thing you know, I haven't been to town for a while. Go to town. The people that run the kebab shop also own Istanbul Barbers now next door. They just haven't merged the two shops. But the idea was there.
So they need to pay you the royalties then for that idea.
Yeah, there's a suing package coming very, very soon.
As soon as they knock that wall through.
But yeah, I have like a million ideas. But obviously, you must have like an idea to be like, I want to do this.
Yeah, I mean,
what makes you want to do it?
To be fair as well, it was less so about the podcast and more about. I wanted to sort of just I think my frustration with the world at the moment is there's just no openness. Oftentimes that's a product of the fact that we feel like we have to fall into the extremes of stuff. We can't just express our opinion, our true opinion, what we think. We're too conscious of what other people might think, or we're too conscious of the fact that we have to push towards something. I think the main thing this comes from is social media, where it's you just end up bombarded with loads of stuff from one side and bombarded from another, and even if you don't agree with one side, you end up in one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think my approach to that was thinking about, okay, so how do you overcome that? And I think the only real way is to have conversations, to let people, again, first off, feel comfortable, feel trusting me, the fact that I'm not trying to get a hot take on James Hickey. Maybe in a bit. But we'll have a conversation, and I just want you to be relaxed, and I think you need to get to that state first, and then it'll go right. Now we'll just talk about who you are as a person, what do you believe in, what do you stand for. And as well, I think once you do that, that person then can sort of not only as well understand themselves a bit better, but understand others as well. Because I think you give yourself a bit of credit once you start talking about all the shit you've been through, all the stuff you've dealt with. Oftentimes it just sits in our heads. And I think it's more rather than say, I think doing a podcast is a good idea for you, because I feel if you was to just write a Facebook status about you, it would not only would it get lost or something, but some people, if you used to every day write a status about how you're feeling on Facebook, people would be change the record. But if you're doing a podcast, it's natural. Yeah, it's a lot more interactive as well.
Yeah.
But and I think as well, so that for me is not only I think crucial for other people, but it's crucial for me to see that so I've struggled with massively with mental health, my depression, anxiety at times has been awful, and it's still to this day I struggle with it daily. And it's but I think the main thing for me is if I'm connecting with other people, if I'm sat here across from you going I'm really paying attention to what you're saying, I'm really listening to you, I'm really giving a shit about you, actually in turn I don't, and this might sound a bit sad, I think I've said this before, but as a result I don't feel so alone myself. It's pretty much near on impossible to if you're able to fully connect with someone else and listen to them intently, it is very hard for you to feel alone, even if we're not agreeing, even if we're not on the same page on subjects. If I'm going right, do you know what, I'm going to get out of my head for a second and be right, what does James's world look like today?
How does he feel? And I get that fully.
And do you know what? That's actually that's giving me a segue for my next question of so James Hickey, what does your world look like today?
Mine, right now, a load of sun cream, shade, very shady. I don't know. At the minute, I feel like I'm in a better place than I've been before. I think I'm probably now in one of the best places I've actually been, but that's. The last few years, I'd probably say have been probably the worst few years that I've had for a long time. I wouldn't say the worst years of my life, but I'd say that there's been things that have happened in that time, and with family and things like that have made me think. But I feel I don't really know. I don't really know what to say how my world looks. But I feel I'm on the up. But obviously, like you say, there's days where you feel. Days where you don't want to. Everyone has them days, don't they? They don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
But it's one of them ones you go you like you said, you're not alone.
Yeah.
There is genuine people around who you can have conversations. I think lockdown's been hard on everyone.
Yeah.
I think it's been very hard on some people because a lot of people generally cope, and you don't even know it, by surrounding themselves with loads of people, and it's only through not being around people that I've sort of noticed that these people actually struggle.
And like, I'll ask you a couple of questions now, but I think it speaks testament to the fact of the position you're in, that you're willing to like do something like this, because I think you say like there are a lot of people like that put on this front of like everything's alright, and like I know some of our boys that are a bit like that, where it's like you look at them and you like, I know there's stuff beneath the surface there, but you can't force them into saying it.
Yeah.
So you almost just need to wait until they're ready a bit, like make yourself available, but like they put on this huge front, and you're like, fucking hell, hang on, like we need to talk.
Yeah, what I'd say is with a lot of my friends, and what I've noticed, that some people think that their problems aren't as big as someone else's. Like they'll think this person's going through this right now, so I shouldn't say this. But sometimes, like I found when I've been more I wouldn't say down, depressed. I wouldn't really I wouldn't say I've been down and depressed, but I'd say like if I'm feeling more like down, sometimes someone needing my help or asking me for something is what takes you out of where you're feeling.
Exact same thing as this.
Yeah.
You shift the attention. Because I think sometimes like when you are in that state of deep depression, or it can be to a less extent, just like where you just feeling a bit shit, yeah. It's actually to some extent it's your ego taking over, and like your ego saying to me, you're special. Although you don't feel special in the sense you might understand it, it's you going, right, I'm unique. I'm the only one that feels this way. And that's why it often is accompanied by that feeling of being alone, because it's right, I'm the only one going through this. I'm the only one that's ever felt this way. Like some people's problems are quite unique.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, someone throughout the history of human the human life has been through the same fucking shit you have.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not a nice thing to hear. Like someone listening to us who's going through shit, and be like, oh, but my problems are my own. They're unique. They feel that way. Your mind convinces you that way.
Yeah.
They are not unique. People have been through the same shit as you, but that doesn't mean to say that like
the situation might be unique, but the feeling.
Someone's felt that way.
You're probably more alone.
Yeah.
I'd say you're probably. I reckon you're more alone if you're happy, like truly the happiest you are, than if you was the lowest. Because I think there's more people that feel low, but it's a sense of what people. I think social media plays a factor in that. Of some people that show off necessarily on social media, that people then want that, don't they? Whereas,
and they think as soon as I get that, I'm going to be fine. But I think that's a really powerful thing that you just said about the fact that if you're happy, you probably are like in the genuinely happy.
Yeah, if you're genuinely happy,
you are probably more alone than the people that are sad. Yeah. But the irony is, you feel if you're in that state, if you're in that state of happiness, you don't give a shit. You're happy in your own company, and I think that's the key that you need to focus on a bit. Is like just being, I'm on my own, but that's calm.
Yeah,
I can manage on my own. I've got everything I need to get by. But yeah, going back to what we were saying about like your problems aren't unique to you, but like they're still important. And like you are right that like people do that all the time. I do that all the time. I'll be like, yeah, but other people have got shit going on. But the problem is, if you carry them problems with you, don't deal with them, don't talk about them, you then become a bit of an arsehole yourself.
Yeah, and then it's sort of people are like, what's his problem? What's
and that manifests in different ways. You like some people, it might be they'll just be absolute dickhead, just chatting shit to people, starting fights and like starting conflicts, or it might be my way of coping with it is like I'd withdraw from my mates, and like I think back it does. I feel so sad thinking about it, because I'd be like, right, so although obviously I wasn't intending for this to happen, but like, I imagine probably a lot of my friends like growing up,
why
Tate's not about, like, why is he distancing himself from me? And like I've almost through my actions, not intentionally, but I've brought a bit of sadness into this world.
Do you know what
I mean? Like,
I get what you mean.
People that might be going through their heads where they're going like, oh, like, have I done something, like, I'm asking this.
Yeah, or I tried contacting him and he don't message me back.
And he doesn't message me back, or he sees the message, but you don't know the side of it where I'm like literally crippling anxiety from my phone going off. Like I'd send a message and be like, oh, I can't make it, and like I wouldn't be able to bear the thought of a notification, because it'd become real then.
Yeah.
I'd hide my phone. My phone would be on, and it's bad.
I fully get now.
It's bad, but yeah, that's just to say.
Close to doing that to this before Connor.
But listen, mate, you're here, and I think that shows where you're at. Like you're at that level, and again, that doesn't mean to say things are perfect. Like none of us.
Yeah.
Have it. And the idea of like being happy and like that comes from places like the fact that you're always adapting. You're never going to quite be there. You're chasing it always.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You're always chasing something.
But
I think.
it's good to hear that you're in a better spot though, and the fact that as I say, you're talking to me now. You're prepared. You didn't know what questions I was going to ask.
No. I even said that like I was even speaking to one of my friends the other week when they were saying about like what's it like you're going on there next week. What's it like? Obviously you see it get recorded or whatever. He said, what is there like a meeting before to say don't talk about this, don't talk about this, don't talk about that? And I said even Sam said to me, okay, we won't talk about this for you, like you won't want to talk about it. And I said, if you talk about that, talk about that. But if you don't, like, I'm not going to say that that's a no talk zone, because at the end of the day, I think when you do things like that, so you can't talk about that, you're sort of brushing it under the carpet sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's like you don't really deal with shit like that.
Yeah.
Like if you just hide it like that, you're hiding it. It's still with you.
I think the biggest reason, for why what was probably keeping me off, or like would keep me away from doing this, is I think it's like I say some things that can be a bit controversial. Like I'd have to be on my best behaviour, no drink, like.
But that as well. But that can almost as well. Like you know what it's like when you're drunk or whatever. Your head's in a space where like you can sort of just try and be a bit more extreme.
Yeah. So
and it doesn't.
But it don't even necessarily have to be like I have to be drunk.
Yeah.
As soon as I don't know. Sometimes I could have a Red Bull and be like that. Like it's just like I don't know what it is. Sometimes I'll just be a bit excited and start thinking like, how much can I push the boundaries here?
But I think I don't know. I think oftentimes where that can be,
you get doing
that when you're heckling. But I think sometimes you can just get carried away with your own silliness, and like you almost try and outdo yourself to get a bigger reaction. Like I think back to like during school times.
Yeah.
Like it would just be someone would do something, and then the bar set there.
The
becomes the normal, and it's like, hang on, how do I outdo that? And actually, the guest I've got on next, so he does YouTube, and he does like some of those like silly pranks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was saying this to him, and he was just like, yeah, obviously, if you do something mad, crazy, like everyone looks at it one week and they're like, oh Jesus, what's this guy doing? Like he's a head case.
Yeah. Like them ones from around here.
But then that starts normalising.
Yeah.
Then that becomes okay. I'm expecting that level.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, then in order to push be outrageous again, you don't have to push the bar high. But like we do that, like
I get what you're saying, because it goes the same in any sort of way you do it. Say for instance, like football. A player could have a good season.
Yeah.
The next season, you want him to have a better season because he's already showed you what he can do for that season. So you always want more. And if he just he does exactly the same as this last season before, he might be looking bad and be like, he didn't have a great season.
Because there's no progression. You can't see any.
Look at England complaining about Harry Kane at the minute.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't scored in 2 games.
Yeah.
And I know it's 2 games on the biggest stage that there is really, other than the World Cup. And he's captain for his country, and he's the bags man in the Premier League. But clearly, there's something going wrong with that team, because the delivery is obviously not there, because there's no one delivering stuff for him at Tottenham, and he's carried them for between him and Son for the last season and a half.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I think that expectation comes up there, and it's like, hang on, like if they then just maybe have like a slightly average game, or like they just. Like even if they have a shit game, like maybe that's just like, we all have that once in a while, whether that's at football, whether that's at work, whether that's at life, whatever. You just then go, okay, be a bit more realistic. You can't maintain that all the time.
I think it's half the time. I think with football and things like that, I think then the players put the expectation, like they know the expectations on them, so then they set like a higher expectation for themselves and be like, cool, I've got to do this, and then that's why they end up falling out of form. I think some of them because they know what they should be doing as well. And some of them are doing it in training. Yeah. Like bagging them in training. Like Werner's meant to be one of the best players in training. Yeah. Have you seen him on the pitch?
That's what pressure can do.
He's the only striker in history to ever go to Chelsea, and they do like a target practice before when they sign a new player, like a striker, things like that. They do like not like shots like they do on Soccer AM, like top bins or things like that, like scenario shots.
So they'll call like a corner and then
they'll be like top, like you'll have all your corners that you've got to hit, like all the spins and all things like that. He's the only player in Chelsea history to get 15 out of 15, and he's probably the only player that's missed about 50 out of 40, out of 52 of his shots that he's probably having
in the season. Fuck that. Enough about Chelsea though.
What do you mean? Chelsea won the Champions League, Sam. I said I'll get it in there. 2 Champions Leagues.
This is where everyone tunes out.
Everyone tunes out. It's been a good year for football for me, and not bad year for Connor. Rangers won 55. and Chelsea have won 2 Champions Leagues. So have that, Connor, mate. That's all I'll say on that.
Digging him out.
Yeah.
So where you're at right now, you're in like a somewhat decent place. Like you feel like things are getting better.
Yeah.
What do you need to work on?
See, Sam, this is why we should have gone through the questions before, so
Listen,
I can at least have a little bit of.
You might like don't think about it too much.
I'd say my patience. I think I need to work on a little bit. I know I'm impatient. I think I'm becoming more impatient. I think as I'm getting older, but I don't know. I think that's just like an age thing. So I've always seen that old people are quite impatient. They're like.
Not everyone though.
Nah, but yeah, the old people that have been around me, so it might just be my family thing. I'd say my patience and just like I don't know. Sometimes I'm one of them. If it's not going perfect, fuck it, throw it all away. One of them sort of.
Yeah, I've been there on that.
Yeah.
So you're in a state where you're just like, okay, so it's not going my way.
Yeah, like this is becoming hard. But sometimes you don't, like, I've seen the picture, like, obviously you see pictures of it all the time, of the guy digging for the diamond or whatever, and he's walking away just as he's right there, whatever, like, giving up. Like, sometimes that's what happens, you'll be doing something, and you'll be like, oh, fuck this. Sometimes I think I've got a bit of that mentality sometimes, of like, this ain't working, let's do something else.
But the first thing you've done though is you recognise that now. So now we need to work on it.
Yeah.
How do you think you get there?
I am working on things like that. I know I wouldn't say I know what I need to do actually to be a better me or whatever. But I'd say like I know things that I need to work on, and I am trying to. Like the main thing I think I've worked on over the last year and a bit is I said to myself that I'd appreciate people around me more and show them more that the people that actually generally might feel that I don't appreciate a little thing that they do.
Yeah.
I'll do something nice for them to be like, this is for that, and they'll be like, well, this is a bit much for that, or something, or like that's nothing. Why are you doing that, or something? But I try to do that a little bit more.
That's a huge one.
Try to be more like, and it's not necessarily buying them something like a gift or something like that, but just like something more thoughtful.
Yeah,
thoughtful for them.
So would that also be like come down to things like just expressing like your love for people?
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, I'd say a little bit more like that. Like, there's a few things I think that happened in the last few years that's made me sort of see, sort of like, people aren't going to be here forever, sort of thing. So it's one of them. My mum got ill the other year, so it was one of them ones. It made me put things in perspective. Like, I've generally thought my mum's going to be young and fit for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
And then my mum's had like a heart attack and she's not even 60. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so it makes you sort of realise that this could happen to me, like them sort of things. So I don't know, made me appreciate that family members a bit more. Like, I spend more time now with my family than I used to, and I say my friends, my close friends, I feel like I let them know that they're more appreciated than I used to. Not that I never used to appreciate them.
But even more so.
But I let them know that I know what you've done, this, that and the other. And
yeah, I think like you're saying though, like once you bring in that element of like the fact that you realise time is precious, like we're not going to be young forever.
Yeah.
And as well, like you're right, I think we imagine, this is the way things are being, so this is the way things have always been, my parents are healthy, my family's healthy, my friends are all doing alright. Shit, like life's going to come at you.
Yeah.
Shit's gonna happen, but it's like until one thing happens, I think oftentimes we're in this little bubble.
Yeah, it is, and sometimes that one thing happens, and you think that it's like it's a wake up call sort of thing, and also it's like the worst thing. But sometimes sometimes it sounds like it sounds a bit I don't know, just a bit cheesy saying it, but like sometimes the best things come from the worst places and the worst things. Like that I found, I feel like the best decisions that I've made have come from the worst things that have happened.
Yeah,
like it's maybe
there's no cheese there. That's wise as fuck. Like I think you could. I mean, in those situations, like one or two things happen. Like either you get consumed by it, or you do what you've done, and you've gone right. This, my mum's had a heart attack. Like all these other things have happened to you, and you've gone like, fucking hell, that's shit. And I think as well, you need to allow yourself a bit of time to go, right, you know, that shit situation, grim out a bit, but then what do? You start making changes. Like you go, right, yeah, I know now all the shit that could happen.
Yeah. And
Like,
it's about ownership, I think, as well.
Massively.
If you own your problems that you've got, or you own, alright, cool, I'm not, I know I'm not in the best place I am now, rather than putting up a front, like you said, when some people don't talk. I think ownership's a big key.
That's the first step for change. Ownership, like take complete responsibility for everything. I think there's like a book I read about this actually, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, like really helped me with this. Like it basically speaks about, okay, so just take complete ownership for everything. Yeah, that, as you're saying, like responsibility for everything that's happened to you, even if it's shit when you were a kid. Like stuff that, you know, you might have had like a bad relationship with your parents, whatever. Like stuff like that, you just go, do you know what? Yeah, I wasn't to blame for it.
Yeah,
but it's mine now. I'm the adult now. I can deal with it now, and that's where you start doing that healing. You start then going, right, okay, I can look after myself now. You know, you are going to be, as we say, there are going to be tough days where you just like fucking hell, like. Yeah,
of course, but there's even that ownership, even with like friends, like. I've got friends that don't speak to each other over something like over things trivial. Like I've got a lot of friends that do that, fall out over trivial things, but then they'll have girlfriends who do worse or something like that, and they're forgiving them week in, week out. But then they've got a best friend who actually generally is actually their best friend, but just fell out over a trivial thing, and they don't speak to. But then it's like, and then when you speak to them and ask them why you don't speak, the majority of the time it's that person can speak to me first. Rather than actually, I think communicate. People, especially guys don't communicate, do they?
But in those situations, that can come down to pride as well. Yeah, like, they don't want to be.
I think that's one thing I need to work on. Yeah. Pride. I'm very prideful. I'm very petty. That's what I am. Very, very petty. Someone used to call me Petty Wop.
That was quite good actually.
He used to call me Petty Wop, and do that to me all the time. Like, cover the eye. Sometimes I wouldn't even say Petty Wop. They just do that. They just cover one eye, and I'd know that I'm being petty, and that'd be a sign for me to stop being petty.
Do you know what that's reminded me of? Do you remember in school, like, I'm assuming it was Connell that came up with it, but you remember that?
Who was it that done that?
Was it not Connell that came up with it? He was the one that did it the most.
I feel like he was probably the lead. Ensure it was carrying on, like made sure it was becoming a thing.
But basically, what it was
like, probably someone like Connor or even Hoy. Hoy does a lot of secret, like creates a lot of things that he doesn't take credit for.
But basically, what it was, just to explain, obviously anyone listening that didn't understand, but like anyone that didn't understand. So basically, in school, like anyone would start saying anything. It could be. The things, it could apply to any situation as well. It'd be like someone would be like, "Oh, like I did this on the weekend," and they just start going. And then just clasp their hand over like their head and just like look away, just like this is like cringy.
It's meant to be if you said something cringy that people would cringe at.
It became like anyone would talk in any type of scenario.
Someone could say, "Are we still going out Friday?" And someone would be like,
and it became, you wouldn't even have to do the they just literally just like throw their hand up to their forehead and just in that motion, like you just be like,
it was very much. Stop talking. It was as popular as the game where you had done a circle and put it below your.
Yeah, it was pretty much that.
Yeah, and Shabsham. That was it. There was quite a few like homemade.
Bertie Big Bollocks.
Homemade.
Triple B.
Who was the Bertiest in our year, would you say, Sam?
I mean, it could have been me, but...
I weren't going to say it, but I'd put you in top 3. I was definitely top 3. And I reckon you could probably get the other top 2. There's one that sticks out up there that I saw fun as well. The double M.
Oh yeah, to be fair, Michael. Yeah, he'd definitely be up there.
Yeah, Michael was...
Do you remember Daniel Boonstra as well?
I was literally going to say Boomstrap, yeah.
I think between the three of us, that's a decent little show in there.
Yeah. I'd even say, I'd say
that trio.
There was a few others got close pushing it.
Yeah, mate. Listen, we had competition, but like, ultimately, like, no situation, the heavyweight showed
was even up there, to be fair, on the Bertiness. When it comes to rugby, it was a different character when it comes to that.
But let's go back to James Hickey. You said about, so one thing you definitely, like, you've worked on massively on that, you're just appreciating things and like showing love for people. The one thing you said you want to work on is that patience. So like, you recognise that.
Yeah.
How do we deal with that? What do you think there are like any like things you could do to build on that?
Sit and make me wait for a long time.
Just like queue loads. I mean, you was patient. You was a bit patient there with the wings, like.
Oh no, I weren't patient.
You seem patient to me.
That was me being patient, but they know literally there I was being impatient. Like, that was me being patient. That was me trying to be show
like
you.
gritted teeth.
Yeah. I'm gonna let them. For fuck's sake. And I was literally only waiting like a minute.
It's too long. A minute too long.
Yeah, a minute's too long. I used to hate Argos. That was one reason Argos for that. You're paying for your stuff.
Like, I don't want to wait 5 minutes for it.
And now you get like some little code, and now McDonald's has turned into Argos as well, so they're on the boycott.
James is just avoiding all these places where you have to wait for anything.
Yeah, I'm only going to one of them Amazon shops now that you just.
Or you go and pick it up.
You go and pick it up and leave.
Don't even have to pay.
Yeah. Literally, I'm doing all everything, even tap water will get come from there, I think.
I'll suggest a few. I reckon like one that is great for a lot of people is like physical activity, like working out.
Yeah, see the gym, I'd say, the gym is no matter what, I don't think no one can say to me that when they go to the gym, if they actually go to the gym, I don't mean like one of them people who don't normally go to the gym, go in the gym, and like it is a bit of a daunting thing to go into a gym if you haven't trained before.
Yeah.
But I think after you have the first week, 2 weeks in the gym, you're sweet. And it's not like, some people think it's like quite a patronising thing, or they feel bad about it. You know, when someone's like offering them help in the gym, just be like, you should do this.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking to, because sometimes I've even done that. Like, I'll see someone who I can tell doesn't have the first clue, but they want to use that equipment, but they don't have the first clue about it. And I'll say to them like, do you want me to give you a good workout for that, or something, like give you a good one or whatever. And some people are a bit like yeah.
But some people, like, it's both ways though. Like, it's rare for people to do that, because I think the thing as well, like, it can be taken the wrong way. But
that's what I mean.
But I know what you're like though.
To do that,
I know what you're like though. Like the way in which you do it, I know you'd be so patient with them. You'd be like, look, I can see you struggling. Whether do you want me to like show you how to use that machine or like?
But there's other people that are like would laugh at some people like that. Look over there, they don't have a clue what's going on.
That shows you where they're at.
Yeah, but then so I see this. I see it mainly. I'd say more with. I'd see girls in the gym do walk around a lot because they don't know what they're doing, and are scared. I'd say to ask someone for, do you mind doing this, or even just look on a few YouTube videos on like see the equipment, type in the equipment, say good workout for this, and they can if they're scared to look on that. But guys, I think the problem for them is I think they don't like the way they look, so that's why I think they shy from doing they're a bit nervous. I don't want to get into it, and the first 2 weeks of gym are brutal. Yeah. No matter what, whether you're lifting 1 kilo or you're lifting 100 kilos to start off with, you're aching for the first 2 weeks. Your whole body is putting you through that's the hardest part, isn't it? Like quitting. Of that.
Well, that's patience.
But yeah.
So have you been training recently then?
I try and train as much as I can. Like, even though I work quite a physical job, but like I still try and get in there as much as I can after. I try to do 3 to 4 times a week.
I mean, that's solid.
Sometimes I try to do 5. I had to chop it down to like 4. Yeah. Because I was thinking I need 1 day.
Well, working as a scaffolder as well, like that is hot. Like, that's a workout in itself. So
and
just
it's
getting it in.
Like beforehand as well. I was going to the gym quite a bit beforehand, and I was thinking I'm fit enough for this. Started the job, and literally it's completely different sort of strain on your body. It's like it's good. It's good though. Don't get me wrong. It is good. It keeps you fit, I suppose. But for how long before my body completely
gives up on you? Yeah. I think that's one thing I definitely think. If you would carry on with that and like just commit to it, like as you are. Yeah. That's like the amount of pay, because there will be days where you just feel like, I really don't fancy it. But if you can still make your way into the gym.
Yeah, even like
that is the biggest battle.
What I found as well, what I find is good. Sometimes me and my friend, if I don't really see him too often, but he'll ring me up and he'll be like, I haven't seen you for a while. We'll go on a walk. Yeah. We'll go on a long walk. Yeah. It'll be like an hour or 2 walk. But we'll drive. It defeats you a bit driving somewhere first.
Yeah, but you've got to get somewhere nice though.
Yeah, we'll drive to like a nice sort of like walking spot, and we'll go on a walk and just walk for a couple hours, and like. You find that even like if stuff isn't bothering you or whatever, you could go on a walk and you just moan about stuff, and like I don't know, you just feel a lot more positive by the end of it, even if that's not your intention, if you know what I mean. It's like it's good to just, even if you're just venting,
Yeah, because I mean, for 2 hours, there's only so much small talk you can have.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's one of them like where you might be like, oh, how's this? But like, there's no real hiding in that situation. You're 5 miles away from your car.
Yeah, and as you know, Sam, as well, when I tell stories, I like to tell them from the start to the finish, and I like build a picture behind. So that's how you know that when I tell a story, that I'm not lying about it, because I'll paint the picture.
Yeah.
So you know it from start to finish.
It's like you're describing like
you know the colour.
It's like a Picasso painting you described.
You know the colour of the room, everything like that. What was going on? But yeah, it's.
I think I definitely think we'll have to have you back on. Like we'll do it like story time with James. But I think I'm looking at the clock and like 15 minutes left. I'm like, I don't know if they're
Cool. And there's me saying to you beforehand. I'm thinking 10 minutes in, it would be like.
And to be honest, we've delved into some stuff, but like we haven't gone to any great depths. And I think I'd love to have you. Would have like a few more episodes back on.
Yeah.
With, like, James.
When you do the boxing one as well, get me on with Connor.
To like chat it.
Yeah, because that would be like face off. You'd have to do it like a face off. You'd have to sit in the middle of the table, and it'd be like
just separated.
Like
chairs, like the chairs.
It'd be like white Chisora, because like we won't go at it, but it'll be you might think we might.
Chairs swung around like the wrong way, like.
Yeah, sitting on it like I'm in Saved by the Bell. Yeah, it'd be. Yeah. I'd love to come back on. To be fair, it's cool.
I think today was almost. I saw it as a bit of a settler for you, because I think you were like a bit, as you said, like a bit like unsure of like what to expect from it, and I think I just wanted to show you it's not this big scary thing.
Nah, it's not. It's not.
It's really
I
not.
knew it's not.
Like, but the thing is though, your mind might go like, oh fucking hell, like is it? Like and as well, like if I ask you a question like and you're like, I don't want to answer that.
After like 5 minutes, you forget the mics.
They're not here. They're not here.
Like, if you weren't wearing headphones, it would just be a normal conversation.
But yeah, I think now's probably then a good time to ask like, what's next for James Hickey?
Well, I'm gonna get in contact with Ben Marsh, and I'm gonna try and get good idea that you come up with beforehand. We're gonna try and get the legal rights to the bananas in the pajamas.
Yeah, meant to rival his stepbrother's Mr. Vlogger. We're gonna do our own little thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's next. I probably should plan. That's probably what I'm quite bad at doing. Is planning things for like in advance.
Maybe that's what's next then.
Yeah.
Come up with like a
long-term plan.
Like a 5-year plan for James Hickey.
Yeah. I suppose that probably should be what's next. I like to live from day to day, week to week, things like that. I don't really like to plan too much in advance, but.
I'm with you on that. I am with you on that. I think you can get lost in these things.
Like,
it's helpful to just like write down like what's important to you. Like even if it's not specific, like write down like what's important. And to be honest, this is something so we'll make a commitment to one another, because like, it's something I've been putting off as well, because it's difficult to like get yourself in that state of like, oh fucking hell, like what matters to me. You really need to search like the back of your brain for it sometimes. But if you make a commitment to me, I'll put my hand out. Yeah. We're both going to do it. So like next time we speak. Yeah. On the podcast, I won't say next time we see you. It could be a couple of days' time.
I've agreed to now as well.
You've agreed to it, and it's on camera as well.
I've already shook on
He's shook already, but so we'll both
give me that camera.
We'll both come up with like a, it doesn't have to be much. Like it could be like 5 bullet points, like 5-year like plan, like vision of like right, what needs to happen in the next 5 years, or like, or even not even necessarily things. What's important to you that you want to happen over the next 5 years? Yeah. And you've said already, so you tick that off, like work on your patience. Yeah. And then maybe you expand out that a bit, like 3 suggestions for that. Like, okay, so what could I do? Carry on with the gym. Yeah. It could be like one that I've found helps is like meditation. That could be one that helps a bit. Like, and the one I do is ice baths. Ice bath. Meditating in the ice bath. You know what? Do you meditate in the ice bath? Yeah. I want to do one of them ice baths. To be fair. I'll tell you what. That's going to be part of them. But that will. So you have to be patient as fuck to sit in an ice bath, going like, I'm fucking a bit cold here. Yeah. But I'm gonna stay in here. I'm gonna see this through. I did find that I'm not a really, like, as you know, I've not been a strong runner. I've never really been a strong runner. But at one point, I really got into park runs. Yeah. And I was doing park runs for quite a bit. So like doing 5k in them, and every time I get to 3k, I think I want to quit. But do you know what? That's the thing with cardio. I think it's all well and good lifting weights. Yeah. But like once you hammer cardio, you realise like your mind will tell you 1,000 times on that 5k run, stop. Yeah. Stop. Yeah. Stop. What the fuck are you doing? Stop. Whereas with weights, you can almost do it off momentum. Yeah. But I think that's what takes you to the next level. Is that brings patience as well. I was going to say as well, like so Jack Watts, he's training for the marathon next year in Vans. In Vans. I see him running. He was in Vans. If he's doing the marathon in Vans, I'm telling you, someone ring an ambulance. He's gonna need it. He's gonna crash and burn. Yeah. No, get on that, because I've said to him I'll go for a few runs with him. I need to work. Like I shy away from long distance, but I think it does take you to a different place, like
Yeah.
long distance. Like if you can commit to it, get on with it,
Yeah.
come on a couple runs.
Yeah, no, I wanted to come on a couple of runs because I wanted to get back into doing like just even for training boxing again.
Even if as well, mate, I did a couple of sessions boxing. We'll get the pads
Yeah.
out as well.
Yeah,
Go on a 5k run. But
yeah, well, I'm happy for that.
I think as well, like you don't even have to deep it that much. Like the runs I go on these days, like sometimes I'll just literally just be lifting my legs, not even focusing on the pace, just enjoying it. Like as you say, I think when you talk about going for that walk with your mate,
Yeah.
on those long walks, like for 2 hours, that's almost what I'm doing. I'm looking, my head's up.
Yeah.
I'm taking everything around me, like it gets you to that relaxed state.
Yeah, it does.
So,
it does.
Those are the two. Well, shake your hands. Like, you're coming on a run with John and I as well. We've got the 5-year plan, like just writing down like things that are important to you, want to focus on. And I think, that's all I'm asking for you. Is there anything you wanted to ask me?
Do you think that you could beat Clayton in the on the
cycling
bike?
Do you know what? If I did beat his time, which is very unlikely, he would then go out and beat my time.
Oh yeah.
Like you know the kind of character he is. Like he.
You know what? I said to him on the first one. I can't remember who it was that beat him. I think it might have been Liam. Who beat him on the first one.
Yeah, because I don't think he hammered the first one that hard.
He didn't. He said I rung him up and I hammered him. So I rung him up and I'm saying as if you've let these sort of people like that. Like, I know that he would hate that they beat him. Not that they're like. I'm just like
he just wouldn't.
Yeah, because you know how competitive he actually is. Really.
But the thing with him is though, I think as much as he's competitive with other people, he's more competitive
with
himself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So me saying to him, as if you didn't top that, you've been cycling for this, you're doing that, and he's like, mate, that was me after a gym session doing that. And I said, well, you set that time on after a gym session. He went, wait, watch my next one. And then a day later, obviously, you went in and set the next one.
But that's an elite mentality. He's like, because I think as soon as you focus on other people, you're not only competing with yourself, you compete with other. It just adds another layer to it. It's like fucking. It's enough as it is to deal with your own shit, to battle through your own mind. Like, let alone if you're then also having to use like 50% of your resources on focusing on someone else's time. You've wasted 50% of your mental capacity. Like, just focus on yourself, what you're doing. Yeah, that's the best approach.
Right. Another thing I'd say is, but what's the Book of Sam about?
That is an episode I will do. I've said I might do it on like the 100th episode. So that's a long way off.
Because I've seen on a few of your episodes, you do ask a lot of people questions. Like sometimes it'd be good to get someone to interview you.
That is something that
not
will
like
happen.
interview you, but just speak to you on where.
Mate, there's stuff that I will go into.
Yeah.
I could probably do it today. But I think sometimes as well, like you almost need to like let it marinate a bit yourself. Yeah. And it's one of them. And to be honest, as well, like so today I could be like, so James, like what is it, and what is your life about? Like what have you know all of these things? Like I could go into real dark, deep stuff. But I think sometimes you just need to ease into it. Yeah. And I think that's what I'm doing for myself a bit as well. Like I feel like I am there, but I think it'll be a richer story
if you're more comfortable.
If I'm more comfortable, but. If I've let it sit there for a while as well, I've really processed it, and I think as well through having conversations with other people and like learning their stories, even more I'll sort of like add to mine, like make it more interesting. But like it will come. I promise you that it will come. But I think it's one of them, probably like the 100th episode or something like that. So if I'm looking at it now from like the start, so when I restart the podcast, I think this is the 15th one, which is a fair number in like a matter of like a month, just over a month. So it will come. I promise you that it will come, and it will like. I won't hold anything like off the table. Like there will be a lot of stuff I want to get into, and it might be a squeeze to get in an hour. Yeah. But we will get there with it, even if I have to do like a double on it. Do a Sol Campbell.
Make a night.
Make a night of it.
Oh, you say you want to speak about Sol Campbell?
No, we're not getting into Sol Campbell. Traitor. But yeah, like that's something I will touch on at some point in time. Like I always embrace it as well. Like whenever it's usually towards the end of the episode, because that's when I invite them to ask questions. But even if it's halfway through. I love it when people are prepared to go, but what do you think about that? Yeah. You know, it's not just like one way, like, like what this, what that, what the other, what do you think? Like, I love it when like, you throw it back at me and go, like, Sam, like, well, so what do you actually think? Like, you're sat there comfortable. Yeah. Make me uncomfortable. I love it.
Yeah, half the time I clock that you're smiling because you're sort of thinking, I know this is trying to make you. I'm trying to think, are you trying to make me a little bit uncomfortable?
No. I'm just happy to have you.
Yeah,
that's all it is. I'm happy to have you. And to honest, I've really enjoyed today, and I hope you have too.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah?
It's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely do something like this again.
And as well, like even if this then becomes the catalyst for you to then start thinking about doing your own podcast, like I think I can still sit with you.
Yeah.
Even if it's a case of like, you know, because obviously you have to go out and get the shit and that.
Yeah.
Like you could just, I'd happily have.
That's what I mean. Like even like a podcast would be like a back idea in my head, but I've got equipment for podcasting.
Oh, did you?
Like,
Did you get it?
Yeah, like I've got some. That's what I mean. I'm quite impulsive like that. Like if I think about something, I'll think, no, I'll search it up. I'll do like some research in it, and before you know it, I brought stuff to do it, and then I won't use it or something. Like I've got a big like keyboard with loads of beat things. I've used it probably about twice to make beats, but all I wanted to really do was learn the piano a little bit.
Yeah.
I learned how to play Steel Dre on the piano, and that was me happy, satisfied. Yeah, literally play.
But even if so, imagine like a few months down the line, or even like a year down the line, whatever, you go, do you know what, I've done a couple episodes with you, Sam, a few episodes with you.
Yeah.
Can I give it a stab? And you've thought more about like what you want to do. Yeah. I just like happily just leave it.
I come out with a podcast and book.
Exactly, mate. Just take over my jumper.
Yeah, it's just the opposite way around.
But that's the end of this one.
Yeah.
Is there anything like you wanted to say just to like leave it with? Any sort of like closing comments?
Man, I'd say fuck Tottenham.
I mean, you can. Like, you'll upset me, but you're more than welcome to.
Just like, yeah, if people don't want to, like, I know some of your friends are a bit scared as well to come on. Just come on and talk, man.
It's not that bad, is it?
Nah, it's not that bad at all. It's not that bad at all. If me and Marsh can do it,
anyone
and come on here.
I think particularly Marsh as well. He was really like, I've got nothing to say at all. And obviously that episode, Connor said a lot.
Yeah, but I think if you
what he added, he enriched that episode. It was fun, like the Mr. Blobby thing, the story of that.
What people have taken from that episode is about Mr. Blobby more. I was going on about it when I first come in today. So,
exactly.
Yeah, but
like everyone has something to add, and I think as soon as you start to feel that you don't, come on the podcast, and then I'll ask you some questions, and we'll realise that you've got a lot to add to this world, and you know you don't have to sit on the fence. Just talk, man. But if you're happy to, we'll finish it there.
Yeah, we'll finish it there.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, James. Thank you so much, mate.